Good evening, guys. Hope you all had a fantastic or are having a fantastic weekend. Hope you're out enjoying the weather. Today, I'm just going to go through GU and EU for the weekly outlook. Going to do a bit of top-down analysis, show you guys what I'm looking at for the week. So I'm going to get rid of all this that I've drawn out on GU so far. So we're going to start from the 4-hour, and obviously, as you can see, we are clearly bearish. We've broken this external structure to the downside. So there we go. So obviously at this point you want to really be looking at sells from the bigger picture. We're going to jump down all the way down to the 15-minute and just see what price is doing and identify targets for the next move, etc. So we're just going to mark out our breaks of structure just so we are 100% clear with what price is doing at the moment. Just mark these up. Probably do that one instead. Okay, so we've got our structural breaks, and now we want to look at potential areas where price could see a reaction to. So already I can see what we want to focus on is this latest break of structure. So you can see this area right here caused the last structural break, so we want to focus on that primarily. And obviously we've got our areas of interest, so obviously this sort of level is our premium pricing. Premium. Hang on, let me just save this. And then premium. Okay, so we've got a premium pricing at this half of the GAN box, so obviously we want to identify levels where price could react to in this area, and already we can see that we have a nice little supply zone in here, which we could see price react to or could be targeting as we speak. So from the 4-hourly outlook, we've got a low and we have our high up here. So we're just going to cover this with that as well. So there we go. So there's our area that we could look to target on this recent move, because you can see we have, if we jump down to the hourly, we have broken some structure to the upside. It looks like we're getting some sort of move up, and we have to identify where that sort of move is going. And you can see we've got these structural breaks, and demand is currently being respected. Okay. So what you could potentially look for is maybe a structural break from there, and then maybe look to get in on, so let's say this is the demand zone, look into something like that, into there, something like that. Or you could just wait for this and then try and take this down into this sort of demand area like that. So there's two potential scenarios. I'll draw the other scenario up for you. Break with that, and then just move this one over. So there's two potential scenarios that could happen. We could also just see this, like you don't know. Oops. Could also just see a slump to the downside. We just don't know what's going to happen. But there's obviously two more feasible options, and then obviously there's the, there's the sheer drop that could happen. We just don't know. So in light of that, we do have an hourly area that we can outline just here. So we've got a nice looking supply zone. So for myself, I'll be looking for buys into this area when markets open. We could maybe look for this to break instead of that, because that is more internal. So if this supply doesn't hold, then we can look for buys from whatever demand is created from this area into this supply, and then drop off. And targets, we could maybe look at this area right here as our target area. Reason I picked this is because obviously if this breaks, this would have been the source of this whole move. So this is a likely area where price could react to. So obviously you want to get out at this point. And yeah, that is pretty much it for GU. Let's see, I haven't missed anything. Nope, so that is it for GU. If we jump onto EU here. Let's get rid of that. So again, from the bigger picture, start down the 4 hour, can see we are bearish. We've broken some pretty big structure. You can see we're breaking little structural areas on the way down. So ideally, you want to be looking at some sells. You don't want to be looking at buys just yet. And so let's include that. Oh, mouse doesn't like me today. So at the moment, you'd want to be looking at some sells or some sell ideas. So from this outlook, what I can see is we have obviously this major level up here, which I doubt price is going to go to, but it's always a possibility, because this did cause this big push which broke this overall structure to the left here. So this is obviously an area where we could see price come to at some point. For example, if all of these supply areas break, so if this breaks, then it's mostly probable that price is going to do something like that and come up into that zone. But obviously this is quite a strong zone in itself because it is pushing price down, and it seemed to have grabbed some or manipulated buyers and sellers before pushing down. So this is a very strong area of supply that we could see a reaction to, which is actually what I'm waiting for price to come into this week. So these areas right here, I can find my rectangle. So we do have a couple of supply areas that could produce some sort of resilience for price. This is this area right here and this area right here. Now, the reason I'm not too worried about these areas is because, just draw the low out here. The reason I'm not too worried about these two areas is because if we look at this from the 4 hour perspective, sorry, this one area, not the two areas, that's the area I'm looking for price to come into. This area here, because if we remove this like that and then look at this from a different angle like this, you can see that this could be being used as inducement or liquidity, which gives price an excuse to come into our target area on the 4 hour here. So just mark this 4 hour again. So that's the area I'm looking for sells from if we do see this liquidity taken, which you can see we had a reaction from this zone, but it's not a major reaction, and it seems to be pushing through this supply area right here, which looks to potentially be setting up for a failure. So we can see how price reacts when markets open later tonight, but I don't see these two holding, and I see price coming into here. We could see a reaction down, so we could see this, or we could actually just see price come through this, bounce up, and then come straight for that. So there's two potential scenarios that could happen, but obviously only time will tell to see which one does prevail. But this liquidity down here was grabbed. If we just look at the daily, there's no sort of reference point. So yeah, so that liquidity is grabbed. So to me, it looks like we could be seeing some sort of move up. So it looks like it's fueled its move up from here. Its destination is yet unknown, but we've got two potential scenarios where price could react to before selling off again. So those are the two outlooks on GU and EU that I'll be looking at this week. So hopefully guys, you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I hope you smash this week. Have a good one.